10 countries that may go bankrupt in the near future. Number 10. Argentina. In the world, many countries have been facing economic problems for the past few years, but Argentina is in the worst situation. The total debt of the country is $150 billion. Due to the extreme economic crisis, the country suffers from high inflation, high unemployment rates, food shortages, and high levels of poverty. According to a report, the country does not have enough resources to run until 2024. If this economic situation is not improved, the country will go bankrupt very soon. Number 9. Ukraine. Ukraine's debt increased from $10 billion to over $100 billion as a result of the Russia-Ukraine war. The lack of foreign investment and financial support for this country, as many countries and institutions are reluctant to lend money to a country that is under military threat. The financial crisis has led to high levels of public debt, inflation, corruption, and poverty that have increased manifold in the country. Number 8. Tunisia. Tunisia is a poor country in Africa, and the country is at high risk of bankruptcy. This country's reserves decreased by about 24% over the past year. The economic crisis has caused the country to freeze pensions and reduce job salaries. The country is now in danger due to high foreign debt and low reserves. Due to low reserves, imports into the country have been disrupted, resulting in an acute food crisis. Number 7. Ghana. Ghana was among the 10 fastest growing economies in the world, but the country is now on the brink of bankruptcy due to constant borrowing. The country's reserves have decreased by 17% in the last year. The country has to import almost everything to sustain itself, and exports are almost non-existent. Due to the financial crisis, corruption, crime, and poverty have increased dramatically in the country. Number 6. Egypt. Egypt has long been on a development path, but is now close to bankruptcy. The country has to pay off $100 billion in debt over the next 5 years. Due to the economic crisis, food imports into the country have decreased manifold. As a result, there is not enough food in the country, which has the biggest impact on the working poor. Number 5. Kenya. Kenya is a country that may soon become bankrupt due to debt. The country's current debt is $71 billion, which was only $16 billion in 2013. Also, the country's reserves have declined by 26% in the last 2 years. Due to the severe economic crisis, the common people of the country are not able to buy food and are not getting paid properly. Extreme distress has started in the country. Number 4. Ethiopia. Ethiopia is facing a severe economic crisis due to the civil war and the COVID-19 pandemic. The country's reserves have decreased by 28.6% in the last year. Also, the country lost $20 billion in the civil war. People are living in poverty and insecurity in the country due to the economic crisis. If the economic situation does not improve, the country is likely to go bankrupt. Number 3. El Salvador. This country is burdened with debt. The country does not have enough reserves, due to which it is unable to repay its debt. The country is now on the verge of bankruptcy due to an extreme economic crisis. Due to low imports, high taxes, and rising commodity prices, the lives of the people in this country have become miserable. Number 2. Pakistan. Currently, Pakistan is going through its worst economic period. The current debt of the country is about $126 billion, which is the highest in the history of the country. The country's reserves are also near zero. Hence, Pakistan is struggling to import even its food and daily necessities. Apart from these, Pakistan is plagued with various problems like political instability, militancy, and corruption. If this trend continues, Pakistan's bankruptcy is just a matter of time. Number 1. Belarus. The IMF has imposed sanctions on this country due to Belarus having supported Russia in the Russia-Ukraine war. Due to these restrictions, international financial markets have severed all ties with the country. As a result, the country's imports and exports have decreased, and poverty and debt have increased. According to SEAC data, Belarus's total reserves have decreased by 54% over the past 2 years.